So hello and welcome back to the channel. It's been such a long time since I've done a video. I'm surprised I even remember how to do these things. But anyway, Assetto Corsa Mobile launched a number of weeks ago now, and I did put a little link to it on my Facebook page and probably on the Assetto Corsa page within Facebook. But I took a little bit of time to try and get used to this game when it first came out. I was quite interested in downloading it and seeing how it got on. I did read a few little reviews before starting into this, and as you can see, the AI just up ahead just seemed to go into a frenzy of struggling to drive in a straight line quite early on. This is literally the first go of the game that I did, and just noticing just how early the AI start to brake. You can see here having to take a little bit of evasive action, and the steering input, as much as you just sort of, I mean, I'm using an iPhone 8 Plus, and you're just tilting the screen to turn the car, pushing on the right hand side of the screen to accelerate, and then on the left hand side of the screen to brake. I wasn't running any sort of racing lines or traction control, but the car just feels really unresponsive, and then it's sort of like snap oversteer. As soon as you add a little bit more, it just becomes too twitchy really. It's very hard to keep control of the car, as you'll see here in a minute. So I did try to progress a little bit more using the Nissan now, and you can see the inputs that I'm making there, a bit of throttle on the right and brake on the left, and you can see it's just, you're just wanting to make those fine sort of adjustments to the car, and it just feels impossible. And if you try going in car view, you can't see any of the hood. You can't see how fast you're going, and you can't really see the dashboard at all. So to gauge how fast you're going and whether you've got grip turning into a corner, I've tended to use the third person view, just so that I've got like a sense of speed, because it just feels like there's no sense. I mean, you're not going to feel that sense of grip. It's not like there's a force feedback sensation, but as you'll see later on in the video, swapping to Real Racing 3, it really is night and day between these two games. Coming up in this next section, I just started to wonder whether it was down to how the inputs are used really. I just thought maybe if I go back to steering like a gamepad controller, using the finger on the screen, and then I figured that I wasn't particularly used to driving left and right on the right hand side of the screen, so swapped it over to the left, and it really is just as awkward to use. I did write a review on the iPhone or the iTunes page regarding the game, and Assetto Corsa, the developers, did come back to say sorry that I felt the way I did, but hopefully maybe updates will change how the game plays. But as you can see, swapping to Real Racing 3, and I had deleted this game just to save some space, because it does take up a little bit of space on your phone, and I do tend to use the phone for editing, so I tend to try and use as much of the space available as best I can. But even here, literally just coming straight back on, I know it's not the best racing that you've ever seen, initially just getting used to how the game performs, but there's just so much more fidelity when it comes to steering in this car or in this game. It just feels, you can sort of sense a feeling of grip, and all the minute changes in the angle of the phone really do play into how precise you can almost be with placing the car. There's just so much to offer in this game when you compare it to Assetto Corsa Mobile, and you've got to wonder really what Assetto Corsa or the developers were thinking when they released the game, because there's just, I always think, unless you're releasing a game that rivals its competitors, it's sort of pointless releasing it. As much as there are probably hundreds, or at least between the 50 sort of region of car games on mobiles these days, but I really do think that Real Racing 3, if you're looking for a game to play, I don't know how it plays on like an iPad or anything, it must be far better when you've got such a bigger screen. But just looking at the replays and everything within this game, it does, you probably think back to the days of PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2 even. This is probably cutting edge, and you're thinking you're playing this sort of game on your mobile phone. So if you are looking to pass a little bit of time and you're wanting to progress with something away from the actual sim rig, I definitely recommend Real Racing 3. I can't say I've got lots to say about Assetto Corsa Mobile. It's just not got the fidelity, I don't think, at the moment with the way it handles. I know it's probably not the main thing that us sim racers are looking for, but as a go-to game, Real Racing 3. Anyway, moving on to the next thing I wanted to cover. I was wanting to cover Dave's setups, Dave's Academy, and I did purchase a setup within the website, and it does have a very lot to offer, but obviously I have got my own setups available, as you can see on the SetSpace website, and they're the only setups currently for Xbox, and you can just find those quite easily in the search options. But I did, going back to Dave's setups, and you do get quite a lot for your money, don't get me wrong. We are offering completely different setup options when it comes to my setups and Dave's setups, and as much as I haven't got very many setups out there, there's a great reason for that, and obviously it all comes down to time, and currently on this renovation project, and the fact that I'm suffering with a little bit of a problem with my shoulder at the moment, which I've been told by my physio to take as much time off any physical activity as I can until the inflammation within my shoulder just calms down. So hopefully over these next few weeks, whilst I'm still on the renovation project along with the Series X, I'm wanting to take a tiny look into the flight simulator option, and I'll be covering that probably in more detail in the next video. But yeah, I definitely would like to revisit this and have a look at the sort of lap times I'm able to set using Dave's setup around Donington Park, a setup that I've already created myself. And just looking here, once you've downloaded Dave's setups as well, I just use the Simsource app to be able to look at the setup that I've downloaded, and just to be able to transfer that onto Xbox. Obviously we don't get all these files that PC users do get, so some of the stuff, if you are on Xbox and you're buying Dave's setups, you're really not going to be able to make use of what you're purchasing, the Motec stuff and everything. And obviously you can see there is slight differences between his qualifying setup and the main setup. Obviously I'm not wanting to divulge too much of the setup because it is a purchase setup, and if you are interested in buying it, I'm sure he would be interested in taking your money. But yeah, this was just heading back from the Shetlands. I'm just trying to piece together a little bit of a video for you guys to watch. But yeah, once I'm back, finally managed to pick up the Series X. Thanks to Martin for sharing this hot stock app, which allowed me to initially make the purchase, and as soon as it was available, I literally went straight in to the Microsoft page and tried to download, or tried to make a purchase, quickly making a change of address, and then within 6 minutes it was sold out again. But I have seen quite recently there is quite a few consoles that are becoming available. Smith's Game had some, Amazon, so maybe on the run up to Christmas it is going to be an option to possibly bag yourself a new Series X. Obviously if you're not wanting to pay too much money, but I was quite happy to receive mine just a few days ago, and I've had a chance to just try and download a few games to the console. But I would like to spend a little bit of time on Flight Simulator, just picking up the Thrustmaster. I forget what it's called. I'll put a little display of what it is that I'll be trying to use, and probably just try and get this setup running at the renovation project, just doing a little bit each week where I can. But life is just really busy at the moment, and not wanting to feel too much pressure to get a new video out, I'm just going to be putting stuff out there as and when I can. Hopefully returning back to Assetto Corsa possibly in the new year. I know it's going to take a while to get this shoulder issue sorted out, and I just don't want to rush it. I've seemed to put it on the back burner for quite a while, and it just seems to be getting worse and worse, and so I'm just wanting to get it fully recovered, get the tendons or whatever's inflamed in my shoulder really calmed down before I get back in the driving seat and start doing some more Assetto Corsa, hopefully in time for when it launches enhanced for the Series X console in the new year. But I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope we found a few useful snippets of information within this one, and until next time, as always, ciao for now.